Welcome to another chapter of Haunted History. I'm Tim Renaud.
And I'm Christina Lobo. Centuries of rum, mystery, and maybe a ghost or two.
Step into the Tavern near Rainbow Row, Charleston's oldest liquor store.
Where the spirits aren't just on the shelf.
So this is the Tavern at Rainbow Row, and it is America's oldest liquor store, continuously operated since 1686. I am a clerk here. I've been here for about 2 months. I moved down here to help the owner kind of continue the legacy and the tradition of this place. So I'm learning all about the business and all about the history, and it is a vast history. This is the oldest liquor store continuously operating in the United States, and we've just been officially recognized as so by Senator Tim Scott. Opened in 1686, so almost 100 years before the country was even founded, and it was a stopover point close to the wharf here for sailors, smugglers, and all sorts to walk in, grab a drink, bring a bottle of rum for the road. If ghosts could say something to us, they'd probably tell you to buy a bottle of some of our local bourbon. We have some amazing local craft distilleries, and they put out world-class products. And we really pride ourselves at the Tavern for carrying all local products, and they compete with anything coming out of Kentucky or Tennessee. So those ghosts probably had plenty of bourbon and rum in the days past, so they'd probably recommend it. During Prohibition, we had the underground tunnels under the store that were used to smuggle alcohol and earlier on people as well. So through both of those histories, there have probably been some accidents in the tunnels that are under the city, and just getting down into the basement is a little perilous as well. So I'm sure there were some accidents. You want to get out pretty quick. We have like our air handler system down there, and in the middle of the summer it went down, so it was getting pretty warm in here, so I went down there to check, and I did not want to stay down there very long. It's cramped, there's a lot of just feelings down there for sure, and there's a coolness that they probably used that in days past when there was no air conditioning to cool off, but now it just feels kind of creepy. There's quite a large cellar with all sorts of old bottles and coins. It's quite dingy and damp down there, so I don't think it's a place that you would sit and have a drink, but it is pretty cool to think that 100 years ago, 200 years ago, they were actively being used to smuggle things and people. Now the tunnels have collapsed, kind of that extend past the property, but you can still see where the remnants of the tunnels are and where the entryways are. We've also had back in the day, I know that someone was pushed out of the upstairs window like 100 years ago or so, and I think those spirits might still be in here with these spirits. Shifting in the building, I'd like to think it's shifting in the building. Also, from the cellar, you can hear knocks occasionally in the basement. Bottles have kind of clinked together, and I've been like double checking to make sure no one's in the store. And then occasionally, probably just because the beer gets past its prime, but cans of beer, rarely, but cans of beer can just explode all of a sudden. We keep our beer very temperature regulated. And so to have beers just magically burst, especially if it's later at night, it's a little eerie. It's an incredible business, and it's, the only thing like it in the country, really. It has a ton of history, both haunted and not. But people walking by on the Battery and on Rainbow Row always love to stop in here, and I would say 50% of them, their first question is it haunted? I think it's definitely haunted in here. After dark, when I'm closing up, or if I ever go into the cellars, it's like you want to get out of here. You don't want to stick around. There's noises, there's some feelings, and I bring my dog to work normally, and he sometimes gets a little spooked. I think he feels or senses things that I don't necessarily sense, and I'm like, "What's going on, bud?" And he'll be looking around and get a little anxious and bark. So I would say that if you're a local to the area and you haven't stopped in, you definitely want to come in and check it out. It's a brilliant piece of history that's just around the corner from you and located right on the waterfront. So it's up to people to come in here and see if they can feel anything and get the vibe that there's another unworldly thing going on. When I'm closing up here after dark and Rainbow Row is silent, you don't have the tourists walking down the street anymore, and you're the only one in the store, you definitely hear things. Maybe that's because the building is 350 years old, or maybe some other reason.
The ultimate autumn hangout.
At the Luttrell, you can sip on a ghoulishly crafted cocktail while taking in Charleston's magnificent skyline.
They walk into an incredible facility at the Veranda Cocktail Lounge to be able to come upstairs to the rooftop, featured cocktail, make that one purchase, and be able to get a free pumpkin to take it home. It's a magical time of the year for anybody involved. For kids and adults, it doesn't get any better than this. We partnered up with Dreaming Farms and they're on James Island. So we love to support local business. We actually have over 500 pumpkins up here, and they are going out the door. And we're excited that we're being able to provide that and get to see a beautiful, wonderful rooftop. Kids with their families, people who live down the street, people who are visiting from all over the country. We look forward to having a bunch of new friends and old friends. Next year, we're hoping to do about 750 pumpkins and just keep expanding it until it's like one of the biggest events downtown Charleston.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trail. My name is Riley, one of the mixologists here. And today we're going to be walking through some of our seasonal cocktails that we have here going on through the entire fall and winter seasons. So the first one we're going to call is going to be the White Pumpkin. What we're doing is taking this beautiful rye from Beyond and combining it with some of our coffee liqueur and a house-made pumpkin whipped cream. This one's fairly simple, 2 parts, easy to do at home if you have the right ingredients. And we're just gonna make sure that it's full of that fall flavor. At least 1.5 ounces of our rye. Okay. And we've got 1.5 ounces. Today we're gonna be using Kahlua, but any coffee liqueur will do, whatever is your preference. Give it a good stir. And then we're gonna take that awesome pumpkin whipped cream that you made with just a little bit of pumpkin pie spice, heavy whipping cream, and a splash of sugar for that sweetness to kind of counterbalance that whiskey that's in there. And we're gonna lay that flat and let it kind of melt into the top of the glass. And the reason why this is called the white pumpkin is because it should slowly start melting down. And you'll get that cool, spooky sort of ghost-like texture that's gonna fall down. And then we're gonna take our pumpkin spice and give it a nice little dash on top. So once again, very simple, but also very, very tasty for the season, especially if you're really into coffee drinks with a little bit of that pumpkin spice. Of course, it's that time of year for that. So we've got that going on here at the Luttrell. The next one is going to be our Garden Maharaja. So this one's a very interesting one that took a little bit of science in the back. So we're going to take this wonderful Texas gin called Devil's Grin, and what I did is workshopped it into a curry-based gin. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 ounces of that into our cocktail with a little bit of spillage. And this is one that we have for the season that's going to be sort of savory as well as sweet. We're going to go ahead and add at least 3/4 ounce of a honey simple syrup. We've got a little bit of lemon juice, and the reason why we're doing a little bit more of the lemon juice is because we're also doing this as an egg white cocktail. So we're going to go ahead and grab one of those awesome eggs from your fridge and hopefully work with it, get that egg white out. And then if you're not familiar with egg white cocktails, we do have to do a dry shake and a wet shake. After that, make sure you wash your hands. And then to give it a little spice to go with that curry flavor from the gin that we've produced, we have this lovely fire tincture from Scrappy, one healthy dash. And this is where the fun begins because you got to shake it like you got it. And once you kind of hear it foaming up, add your ice. Shake it again. Shake till your hands are frozen to the tin. Make sure you get that excess off the top. Oh boy. And then we're going to go ahead and double strain it into our coupe. And the glass was chilled prior to this, so don't think I'm an amateur here. And that lovely egg white foam on top. Set that off to the side, and then we are going to be garnishing with our cardamom bitters. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of rosemary in there as well for the aromatic. And there we are, the Garden Maharaja.
It's a month in the making, all for one night of spooky adventure.
Take a trip to Somerville, where you'll find a home decorated, starting at the doorstep, down the driveway. We take you to Longstreet Street and Sangaree.
This is something that we started back 2020. And you have to really look back when we started. Something I think you need to see the video because you can see each year how bigger it's gotten until I think last year has gotten big with the amount of people we're getting in. So I mean, you're talking about 3 hours. So something we do for the neighborhood. It's nothing we charge. To get the candy, you have to go through the maze. At the very end, it's not one get one candy. We tell kids all the time, stick your hand in there, grab as much as you want. We don't care. It's about, the kids having fun. It's really for the kids. Well, this year I think we're planning to do a little bit different, where we're going to have a different tent sitting over there by the driveway where kids will have their things and adults are going to have their special drinks so they come over there. So, and I think we're also getting the catering over there so when people can stop in and grab some honor. So something that we like to do, it's something that you don't see happen now what you've done in the past. Growing up, you just see all the time Halloween displays. People loved it. But now you really see a lot of people want to decorate, and it takes someone like us to really start doing it to get the neighborhood to start doing it. The neighbor used to live across the street from us, has passed away, but he'd come over here and tell us his 2 favorite times of the year was this and Christmas because of what we do and how we celebrate and enjoy the holiday. And this is something she does. She's passionate about this, man. It takes us 30 some days to do this, I met my wife actually 2020. So she's always talked about Halloween. Growing up, her 5 kids, something that she's always talked about doing. And she and I were talking one day. She's like, "We did it that Halloween 2020." Well, she says, when you build it, they'll come. And you never would think when you hear something, yeah, you built it, they'll come. Well, believe it or not, yeah, when you built it, they come. And the amount of traffic you see. Because once they see the tents come up, it's rolling. You start seeing people start coming by, drive by slow. Those are things you look at. It's a tradition that we started together. It's just for Christmas. So when we go to stores, I regret it because walking in, I already know because everything ain't cheap. You walking in there, and she sees it, woo, and I was like, yeah, here we go. I've gotten more into it with her than I was. I used to go out parties, costumes, and all that good stuff, and dress up. But this is a different experience. You see it. I don't really call it haunted. I tell people, go through it. It's, you decide what it is. You may get scared, and then be haunted. And so there's people go through, ain't nothing, It's just, I don't really call it haunted. I just call it, Halloween. She's good. She's very good at painting. If you look at that witch over there that she have on there, that head's painted. She alters some of these that she gets in. She doesn't like. She alters them. So she has a creative way of looking at something. And she starts by watching movies. She's probably watching movies in August. Okay, Halloween's not till October. She's watching movies in August and watching scary movies. And I'm looking at, watching movies. I was like, wow, where did this come from? And so she gets some ideas. She has a setup on what she sees and what we have, and it comes when animatronics we buy. So when you start getting a lot of things, she starts sitting down and realizing what her theme is going to be on these, throughout the yard, we have someone that launch out. Those are particular setups certain where she's very creative. She's got you looking over here. Once you cross the path, the other one's going to pop out and hit you, and you're not going to know because she's got you looking when she's distracting you, and she's going to hit you with something else. Every year is different. She wants every year to be different. She wants people to come in, not, hey, this is right here where it jumps out and scares you. No, she really sits down and thinks about where she wants and what she wants. But they're not the same every year. I promise you that. Last year, because we didn't do it in 2023, I think last year we went from having 2022 not as many animatronics, and then we jumped to 2024 and we had a lot more. And it was the amount of people that came through. I think you saw it was, I mean, for 3 hours we're nonstop. So when you're looking at that, previously when you're doing an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think, you know, it's the amount of what we bought that tracked it. Everybody around this side knows us. You know, you have people on the other side of the neighborhood that complain they don't get trick-or-treaters, and I always tell people, like, you got to do something to attract people, because if you're on the side, you're not, you know, and we attract them here, and I think it helps. We've had people come from Mount Pleasant, James Island, Johns Island, we had Walterboro. I mean, we've had different people that have heard about us and come, you know, and they'd be amazed on it. I said, video is one thing, being in front of it, it's a totally different ballgame. I feel like we bring at least this side of the neighborhood together. We want the whole neighborhood to chip in, so they all be, so people can have these kind of stories where you see throughout the neighborhood. But this side, you have a lot of people who love it. It's real, you know, it's real known. The one year we didn't do it, they want to know why I didn't do it, you know. So when we start putting tents up, you hear the reaction instantly, like, oh yeah, they're doing Halloween. We don't have to say nothing. They know exactly when tents go up. Show's ready to roll. I mean, they know me, and I walk in the gas station, and they're like, people I don't know, hey, we love your decorations. So it really brings a lot of joy to the neighborhood. They love it, you know. You can't come in until 7:15 when it gets dark. So it's between actually 7 and 7:30. It's Halloween only, unless you decide to do it Saturday. I heard a decision on that one, because we'll do it, but we won't give candy out if we do it on Saturday. But you know, it's free. You know, come out and enjoy it. You know, as long as the candy's here. I can't promise you if this is going to explode and we're not going to have candy, but I just want the neighborhood to enjoy it, and then whoever else wants to enjoy it. Because trust me, I got a lot of people who text me that don't live in this area that are asking about this, and they say, "Yeah, come on by. It's free. We don't have a problem. It's fun." You know, they can find us here, you know, in Sangre on Long Street, down the street from the duck pond. Preferably they park down the duck pond, because that night it can get pretty hectic right in front of a house. People stopping, you know, people in trailers carrying kids, so it can get a little hectic. So I always tell everybody, if you're going to come, you know, I don't mind coming, checking out Long Street, Sangre, have fun, enjoy it. We'll be sitting over there. Actually, we'll be dressed up, so you're not going to see who I am. So I promise that I'll be, yeah, I won't surprise people.
For this chapter of Haunted History, I'm Christina Lobo.
And I'm Tim Renaud. We'll see you on the other side.